but another 72-hour series, right? So we've been at this now for a little over 54 hours and just excited to be here hanging out with you. Hey, if you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for Endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We are creating, y'all, the life we've always wanted. And in this year, that's right, you know how we do it. New year, new you. I'm talking to adults with type 2 diabetes. How do we put your diabetes in remission? How do we reverse your diabetes and get you off of some of that medication? Glad that you are here. And if you're joining me, wherever you're joining me from, Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or LinkedIn, whatever platform you're on, or even Instagram. I see some folks out there, someone out there on Instagram. Hey, man, thank you for joining me. One of my main men out there. Thank you for hanging out. And then here I see Jennifer. What's up, Jennifer? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Let me go ahead and pop that up. She says, howdy. And howdy to you, Jennifer. Thanks for stopping through. Y'all, I'm in another 72-hour fast. And you know how we do it. I've got my meters. I've got my reports that we're going to take a look at here in just a minute. So I've got my meters over here that we're going to look at. I've got my Dexcom and my Libre. I think, yeah, my Libre is right behind that one. So we're going to take a look at those. But first, we're going to talk about what is going on with me. You know how we do it. We give you a check-in in terms of how we're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, and so on and so forth. If you are out there, if you've been fasting, go ahead and drop that in the chat because I'd love to know where you are. As we are working to put our diabetes in remission, there are so many tools that we're using, tools that will allow us to get to our destination. We've learned about a lot of them, and one of the main ones that we've been using is this idea of fasting. Fasting is an amazing process where we allow the body time to digest, time to use up some of those carbohydrates that we're putting in, particularly carbohydrates that are stored in the liver, right? So after about 24 hours, our body switches. Actually, let me back up. Not even 24 hours. Probably by 18 hours or so, we get past that digestion, that initial digestion. The body is now using ketones or using up the carbohydrates, using up the glycogen, and then it switches over to burning fat and to start using ketones. It's kind of like that hybrid car, right? That car that uses gas and then can switch over to use battery, the electric power from the battery. That's what the body does. And the amazing process is that when it is now switching from burning sugar, burning carbohydrates to burning ketones, yeah, that's where we get that weight loss that we talk about. As we're talking about patients who are diabetics, adults with diabetes, remember, it's not just those people that get the benefit. Because remember the side effects, y'all. Notice what I said, the side effects, not even the main goal. The side effects are those things that we've been talking about: losing weight, improving non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, improving polycystic ovarian syndrome, dropping the blood pressure, improving your cholesterol, all of those ancillary side benefits, all of those side effects of getting our blood sugars down and getting our life in a healthy space. And so we've been using fasting. So how am I feeling physically? You know, I did a very good job this week of getting into fasting. So I've talked about the different phases of fasting in terms of the hours, but there are different groups of things that we want to do as we are moving through fasting. The first phase, main thing that we got to do is get ready, get prepared. That is getting good rest the night before we start fasting, making sure that we have a good meal, right? That it's a balanced meal, that we're not skimping on anything. We want to make sure that we're not scheduling any stressful events during the fasting period, and making sure that we are remaining well hydrated. Okay, those are the initial things. And then during the fast, several things that we've talked about, go back and look at those shows, making sure that you're hydrated, making sure that you are looking at electrolytes and so forth. And then, of course, breaking the fast, just as important as it is to start the fast well, go through the fast, and then, of course, we don't want to undo the things that we did while we were fasting, right? So once again. So physically, I'm doing well. I'm feeling fine. I'm not lightheaded. I'm not dizzy. I'm not feeling weak. I did have, and you guys saw in a couple of shows that I had over the course of this week, I've been struggling with some allergies. And so last night, I took some Benadryl. I took some Zyrtec. And I came home and I was knocked out. Okay. And so I think part of some of the grogginess I was feeling was from taking the Benadryl. So, but otherwise feeling very good. Mentally, I'm feeling clear. As you know, the brain likes ketones. So when we switch to this alternate source, when we're not using all of that sugar, all the glycogen, the brain is actually pretty happy. And so we get this clarity that a lot of people talk about when they start fasting. As we get past those first 12-ish, 12 to 18 hours, when you're thinking about food, then the mind becomes clear because we're not having to go and find food, and those hunger pangs starting to resolve and starting to subside, right? And so we get a clarity that sometimes we don't get, or I should say sometimes, we don't get otherwise. And then, of course, emotionally, this week has been pretty good. Not a lot of stressful events happening. We had our meetup, right? Our community meetup tonight, our second one. And that was great. I had a good time talking there. And so I was excited about that. And so got into that feeling very energized, came out of it feeling energized, and actually had to run to the hospital to see a patient that's in there who came in, a newly diagnosed diabetic, believe it or not, who was in DKA. So we went, took care of that patient, spent some time writing our note, and then now coming back. And it's a little later than normal, but that's because I was coming back from the hospital. But emotionally, I'm feeling excited about being in this space.